Hey guys, frugality is one of those things that everyone kind of wants to try and move into their lives as much as possible. And once you start being frugal, it can be great because you're saving all this money, but it also can be terrible because it can be really annoying and make you anxious and make you worry about spending money all the time. So there are some do's and don'ts of frugality I'd like to go over that can help you be frugal without going insane. So basically, the first thing, and this is something I think everybody, for the most part, knows who shops on the internet and is watching this video, is that you can find coupons on sites like Retail Me Not, for example, or just by searching for coupons. So when you're going to check out and you want a coupon, look for it. You can probably find one in about a minute. You don't want to be looking farther than that. I mean, you don't want to spend too much time on it. Otherwise, you're wasting your time, and time is money in many cases. But a preliminary search will generally bring something up if it exists and works. Now, there are browser extensions you can use instead. I think Retail May Not has one. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but if you search the Google Chrome store or whatever, you can find browser extensions that will find the coupons for you and in some cases actually enter them automatically, which is really awesome. So do those things. It's the easiest way to save a little bit without really having to do much of anything at all. But you should also be checking deal sites. There are lots of deal sites out there like dealnews.com, for example. Check those out. Search for a deal. Make sure you're comparing deals or other prices from other stores. So if you're thinking of buying something like a camera at B&H, use Google Shopping, or better yet, some better comparison engines, but even Google Shopping is pretty good. You can get an idea of what the price range is at a variety of stores, including B&H. And you can figure out if you're overpaying for the camera there or not. But also you should factor tax. When you're shopping online, you should always factor tax. Does Amazon charge you tax in your state? Well, then maybe you should buy it from somewhere else if you want to save, a variety of different amounts of money. But if you're buying a new computer or a new camera or anything that's kind of expensive, you want to make sure you pay attention to, am I paying tax or not? Because if you're buying that computer from, say, B&H and you live in California, or you're considering buying from Amazon, you will pay tax, higher shipping, but zero tax on that item from B&H, but you will pay tax from Amazon because California is a tax state for Amazon. So make sure you pay attention to that. But you can also, if you have time and you can wait around and don't need to buy right away, you can go to sites like Camel, or use IFTTT to set up alerts. And depending on the store, you'll use one tool or the other. IFTTT is the best for stuff like Craigslist and other things that Camel does not monitor. But Camel is good for, I think, Best Buy and Amazon and one other. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. And it's very good at giving you price alerts. You basically say, I want this item, I want it for this much. If it drops to this price, send me an email. And they do that. Also, it helps a lot when ordering online to order as much as possible. Now, you don't want to just buy a bunch of crap or use like filleritem.com just to get free shipping and then end up with a piece of junk you don't need. Instead, try to keep your orders and use the saved for later feature that a lot of carts have. If you need to save something for later, or you want to just put it in your cart and you'll come back and buy it when you have enough stuff to meet the shipping minimum. And that could be free shipping for the same day or one day, or it could just be free standard shipping depending on where you're shopping. But either way, whenever you can say, no, I guess I want this right now, but I don't need it really till next week. If you can say that about a bunch of items, always buy them together. It will always be cheaper for the most part with, some Amazon Prime exemptions there. But when you're shopping in regular stores, it also helps to ask for deals. Just like you would Google a coupon before checking out, you're probably going to want to have a deal in Best Buy or Target, and oddly enough, you can negotiate prices there. But you don't really have to do a lot of haggling. Like, a lot of people are just uncomfortable with that, and I get it. I'm uncomfortable doing it, and I still do it. But what you can do is say, I want this item, ask how much it is, say you were hoping to pay less than that, you thought it was less money or whatever you want, however you want to go about that, and then ask them if they have any deals. And then if they have deals, they'll tell you, because sometimes they're published, but you have to bring in a coupon or whatever, and they'll be able to be like, oh yeah, you can check out our weekly ad. We actually have $100 off of that. But of course, they're not going to tell you that if you don't ask. And in some cases, some items are negotiable. I just bought something at Target that was $30. It was a picture frame, and the frame I wanted was $9, but the only one in the size was the expensive one, and when I had called in, they said they had 3 in stock. As you know, if you've ever asked Target if they have something in stock, They didn't have it, and so I asked them to give me the $30 picture frame for $8.99 or $11.99 or something. I don't remember how much it was, but it was a lot less, and they did it. And that was it. So, make sure you ask for a deal if you think you deserve one or you just want one. There are ways to get it. Be creative, and you don't have to be annoying and haggle endlessly and worry about getting into some sort of confrontation, which is, I think, kind of why people don't want to haggle, because they feel like they're being rude or something. With that, the last do that I want to really go over is that you should know exactly what you need and how much you can spend. So if you don't need an item and can wait, and it's too much, then I'm not going to get this right now. But at the same time, you also want to be careful that you don't wait too long. I mean, if you need something right now, just frugality. This is a don't here. Frugality isn't going to help you. It'll just make you nuts, and you'll wait when you actually need something. I mean, hopefully you're not being frugal about medicine or something that's actually useful, but if you needed a computer for school and think you can tough it out for a month because you can get a discount in a month, that discount better be really good. Otherwise, it's just not worth it. So there's that. Now, there are some don'ts that I think are probably a bit more important than the do's if you are already a frugal person. So the main thing that I think non-frugal people have to avoid, though, is impulse buys. And the easiest way to do that is to do a holding pattern. And what that means is you wait 24 hours or 48 hours or a week or however much you need before you buy a thing that would have any noticeable impact on your finances. So, or whatever your monthly budget is for that, for spending on whatever it is you're buying, whether it's food from the grocery store or something for fun, you want to make sure that you wait. If you think, I want this cheese, but I don't know if I'm going to eat this cheese, or I want this computer, I don't know if I really need it, then give yourself that holding pattern to make the decision, because if you want it now, you're going to want it later if it's really all that important. And we talked about this already, but you don't want to wait for a deal if you need something now, so make sure that you don't wait around. Additionally, don't use your coupons too much if you're doing it to buy stuff that you don't really like. My boyfriend's dad clips coupons to Denny's, and he legitimately likes Denny's, but I don't think anyone can really love Denny's. It's a fine diner for what it is, but a lot of those cheap diners like Denny's and Perkins, they're not great food. So it's not bad to clip the coupons, but if you find yourself going to eat out at Denny's all the time because you have coupons and you don't really like it that much, or even if you do, you should stop doing that, because if you're eating at Denny's every day, you're probably gaining weight, you're not eating healthy, and that will end up costing you more money in the long run. There are a lot of things where you can be frugal and cost yourself more money with these unintended consequences that you don't think about because they're not directly related to the spending. So you need to really watch out for those. And the last don't, the most important thing that really relates a lot to these unintended consequences, is don't just buy cheap stuff. Everyone thinks frugality means being cheap, but it just means being smart about spending your money. If you can buy an IKEA table or a really high quality table that costs twice as much, if we're talking about a LAC table, it's a good deal either way because those things are like $8. But if you're buying a table and you can get a much better table for twice as much money and it will last more than twice as long, obviously in the long run that's a better purchase for the number of years you'll be using it. It will cost less per year than having to constantly replace your stuff. Buying cheap stuff that will get destroyed pretty easily is not a good idea unless you don't intend on keeping it for very long. You want to buy those quality products when there's something that you can use for a long time, like a dining table. But if you have a side table and you want to replace it someday, but you really need that right now, then that's when you buy the cheap one. But just make sure that it's done for a correct reason. So I know that's a lot of information about frugality, but I think it's important to talk about because one of the things I found when I was trying to save a ton of money, which worked really well, is that I kind of drove myself nuts. So it's important to keep those things in mind. There are probably more tips that you might have for frugality. So if you do, definitely share those in the comments. It would be great to add to this list of do's and don'ts for frugality. But thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.